Welcome back, Kleschka Crew. Today I thought I would share with you my favorite MLB player on all 30 MLB teams. Now this setup that I am in right now, it was a lot of hard work. I'm going to show it to you right here. Hey, how you guys doing? Yeah, you see that light over there? That usually is behind that desk over there, and I really wanted to use the green screen for today's video. So this took a lot of work, a lot of moving stuff around. It was a hassle, but I got it done to make this video look better. Let's go. Okay, first let's start with the obvious one, the Angels. My favorite player on the Angels and my favorite player in all of baseball, Mike Trout. This dude is a phenom. He has already proved himself, and I just love the way he carries himself. He plays for the game. He plays for the kids. He doesn't care about all the sponsors. He doesn't care about being the biggest, the greatest of all time. He just wants to play ball, and that's what he does. And I love that. I love that he's on my favorite team, the Angels. Of course, I love that. But, you know, if it's not Mike Trout, because I know that's the obvious one for the Angels, and it's just the obvious my favorite player in general, then it's either Shohei Ohtani or Tommy La Stella on the Angels. Kind of a tie between them, because I love Shohei Ohtani. One Rookie of the Year, and the dude pitches, he hits, so gotta love that. But Tommy La Stella came on. We did not think we'd get much of him, and he's out here raking. It sucks that he got injured, but let's move on. Next is the Oakland Athletics, and my favorite player on the A's is Matt Chapman, third baseman. This dude is a god when it comes to fielding. He can go toe-to-toe with Nolan Arenado. Funny thing is, they actually know each other from before their professional careers. That's pretty awesome, and they both ended up being great defenders in Major League Baseball. That's why I love Matt Chapman so much. He throws it in with some offense every once in a while too. He's a great overall player, so Matt Chapman is my favorite player on the Oakland A's. Next is the Texas Rangers, and my favorite player on the Texas Rangers is the powerhouse himself, Joey Gallo. This dude hits home runs that you shouldn't even be allowed to hit home runs this far, especially in batting practice. I remember going to Angels versus Rangers batting practice, and I was seeing Joey Gallo in the cage. I'm like, God, I know that guy is strong. But man, he proved me wrong, because he is more than strong. We need to invent a new word, because this dude was launching them farther than I've ever seen in the right field pavilion. It was nuts, absolutely insane, and just based on Joey Gallo's pure power alone, I would put him as my favorite player on the Texas Rangers. Next is the Seattle Mariners, and my favorite player on the Seattle Mariners is Felix Hernandez, or King Felix as the Mariners fans like to call him. This dude, I grew up when he was in his prime, you know, when he was throwing that perfect game. He was the king. They had his own little section at Safeco Field. It was awesome to see. And I was just watching dominance when he was in his prime. Every outing it seemed like King Felix was getting the win for the Mariners. So he is my favorite player on the Seattle Mariners. Next is the Houston Astros. Now this one was tough because the Astros had tons of players that are tons of fun. You got George Springer, Jose Altuve, Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, Michael Brantley. This team has so many stars. I can't imagine being an Astros fan and having to choose one for your favorite player. You'd be like, there's too many, I want to pick all of them. But who I picked for my favorite player from the Houston Astros is Alex Bregman. This dude, no matter what people tell him, like if they say, no, you can't do this, or you're not going to be able to do that, you don't have the talent, you don't have the skill. He says, excuse you? And he does it. Alex Bregman is awesome, and I love that he has a YouTube channel. You want to collab Alex Bregman? I'm here for it. Alex Bregman has an attitude that he just wants to win. He wants to be the best, and I love that he puts that on the field. And I love that he carries himself that way, and his personality is awesome too. I love when people put emotion into the game, and he is definitely one of the players that throws his emotion into the game and does not hide it. I know for Mike Trout, I said I love that he's humble, and he kind of does the opposite, but I can love both, okay? I love when people show emotion, but I love how humble Mike Trout is and how he carries himself. Alex Bregman, though, your emotion on the field is pure awesomeness, and I love it. That is why you are my favorite player on the Houston Astros. So that wraps up the AL West. We are moving on to the AL Central, and we're starting with the Tigers. My favorite player on the Detroit Tigers is Miguel Cabrera. I know he's coming towards the end of his career, and he's not quite the player he used to be, but this guy in his prime, if you did not get to watch it, it was amazing watching what he could do with the bat. Every single game, it seemed like he was getting a double, home run, triple, single. This dude was doing it all, especially his Triple Crown year. That was an awesome year to watch. and I really had a hard time rooting for him because you wanted Mike Trout to win MVP of the year. He won Triple Crown, but the dude won Triple Crown. How do you beat a guy that won Triple Crown? Mike Trout all the way though, MVP every year, hopefully. But Miguel Cabrera, he is a stud. He's always been a stud since he came into the league. When he was on the Marlins, in his career on the Tigers, has always been fun to watch. And he just has fun with the game. I love that he has fun with fans, and even in the middle of a game, he's having fun with his teammates, winning or losing. That's an awesome attitude to have. So kids, remember, always have fun. This is baseball. It's a game of failure, yes, but that doesn't mean you can have fun. You're going to have your down times. That's okay. But don't quit. Just keep going. Have fun with the game and enjoy it, okay? Miguel Cabrera, favorite player on the Tigers. Let's move on. Next is the Kansas City Royals, and my favorite player on the Kansas City Royals is Alex Gordon. I know he's not what he used to be, but this dude in his prime was so much fun to watch. And what I love about him, he doesn't really talk much. You don't see him like saying stuff to the media really. He's not really starting a commotion. He's kind of kept to himself. But that's okay, because you can speak with your bat and your glove, and that is fine. That'll get the job done. As long as you are doing it on the field for your team, then you gotta love that. And that's what Alex Gordon does. His defense through his whole career has been awesome to watch. He always puts his body on the line for his team. And his bat, that lefty stroke, is always beautiful to watch. So, Alex Gordon, you are my favorite player on the Kansas City Royals. Next is the Chicago White Sox, and my favorite player on the Chicago White Sox is Tim Anderson. Mainly because of this year. Tim Anderson, he is not afraid to like pimp it one time and just have fun with the game. Really, I think players should be allowed to do that whenever and not be judged. We all know Tim Anderson started doing that this year, and then people were beating him for doing it. But let him have fun. Like, this is baseball. If you hit a home run that gives you the go-ahead or it's a walk-off, go insane. Get crazy. You should be allowed to do that without having to face being hit by a pitch or, you know, just people bagging on you. I feel like Tim Anderson can have all the fun he wants. He's got a high batting average, okay? And, dude, pimp those home runs. Just do it. Pimp those home runs. I love it. Kids love it. Everybody should love it. If you don't, then come on. Stop being a stickler. Like, just get over it. Let the kids have fun. Let these ball players have fun. That's what Tim Anderson's doing out there. Keep doing it, Tim Anderson. I love it. You're a good all-around player, and that's why you're my favorite player on the Chicago White Sox. Next is the Minnesota Twins, and this player also became my favorite player on this team just recently, this year, and that is Miguel Sano. And that is strongly because a game that Mobo and I went to, Angels versus Twins, at Angel Stadium, little day game, Miguel Sano actually communicated with us. He talked to us during the game. That was really awesome. We were sitting third base side, just a couple rows behind the dugout, and he was playing third, you know, his position. And we're like, Miguel, you're killing us, because he hit 2 home runs that day. And he was like, oh, yep, yeah, I'm a strong boy. And he was like patting his stomach. And then Mobo speaks Spanish, so Mobo was able to communicate with him even better. And he told him like, oh, mucha ropa, which means like lots of clothes, like a loose, very loose translation. At least that's what I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. But there's probably like a more accurate translation. But he said that, and Miguel Sano was like, oh yeah, I gotta hide the belly, man. And then he said something about his thighs. He's like, oh, it's those big thighs. And then Miguel Sano, like, I can't lift up my leg that high, but Miguel Sano lifted up his leg and was like patting it, and he's like, hey man, that's what helps me hit these 2 home runs. So it was really awesome communicating with Miguel Sano. We really got to have fun with him, and at the end of the game, we were like, bye Miguel, and he was like, bye. So it was really fun, and that's why Miguel Sano is my favorite player on the Minnesota Twins. Next is the Cleveland Indians, and like the Astros, they got a lot of players to choose from. It could be Jose Ramirez, Jason Kipnis, Carlos Carrasco. Could have been Trevor Bauer, but they traded him away. So, my favorite player is not any of the people I just named. It is Francisco Lindor. Francisco Lindor is also one of those players that just has fun with the game, and he knows that he's allowed to have fun, and he can smile, and he does it so much that they call him Mr. Smile, and that is such a great nickname. I think everyone should smile when they're playing this sport. It is a dream job for somebody who wants to play baseball. Like, you're in the major leagues. It doesn't get better than that, and especially when you're Francisco Lindor and you're succeeding on the major league level and just having fun constantly. And look at him, dude. He's always smiling. He's got the gold chain on. He's not afraid to show it, and he has fun with his hair. He has fun with his team. Francisco Lindor, you got a great attitude. I love it. You're my favorite player on the Cleveland Indians. Moving to the AL East, we are starting with the Yankees. This is just like the Astros and the Indians. So much talent on this team. There are lots of players you could choose from. Could be Gleyber Torres, Miguel Andujar, Gio Urshela, who's been blowing up this year, Gary Sanchez. There's tons of players on this team that have tons of talent and lots of fun, but my favorite player, probably could have guessed it, on the Yankees is Aaron Judge. This dude is a monster. This dude just comes into the box and he's like, I'm going to hit this one. See you later. 700 rows deep. He is so strong, so big. This dude is awesome, and he's quiet like Mike Trout. He knows he has talent. He doesn't have to go around showing it off everywhere. He just plays the game the way he knows and has fun with it. And like I said, he probably knows. He's like, this is awesome. Just being at the major league level and playing baseball for my job. So Aaron Judge, you feel great too. You got a great arm, and your power, everyone knows, is huge and should be feared. So Aaron Judge, you are my favorite player on the New York Yankees. Next is the Tampa Bay Rays, and this player became my favorite player on this team very recently, just like Tim Anderson and Miguel Sano. It happened this year when I was in Chicago at Guaranteed Rate Field. The White Sox were taking on the Tampa Bay Rays, and it is crazy how close you can get to the field, because the walls, okay, if this was the ground right here, the walls are like this high. They're so short. It's nuts. And the away bullpen, you can get so close to the pitcher. You can be like standing right over them, and this is why this player is my favorite player on the Rays. This pitcher is Tyler Glasnow. He was traded to the Rays last year for Chris Archer, and he has been awesome on the Rays. He's been such a cool guy and such a cool pitcher, and it was so cool to see him pitch up close, and that's why he's my favorite player on the Rays. I got to see him right there, and he was like locked in. Like, it was awesome to see something from a major leaguer like that, you know, getting ready for a game, and he was so locked in and focused. It was just awesome. Tyler Glasnow, favorite player on the Rays. Next is the Boston Red Sox, and like the Yankees, Indians, Astros, tons of players on this team that you could like. Chris Sale, Mookie Betts, tons more. But my favorite player is JD Martinez. Just like Aaron Judge, I love this dude because of pure power. I honestly thought JD Martinez should have won MVP over Mookie Betts last year. But, I mean, what are you going to do? Mookie Betts was all around better. JD Martinez was just a hitter. He never fielded. But JD Martinez was so much fun to watch, and he still is. This dude just hits bombs constantly. Fenway was like the perfect place for him to go, and he has made an impact on the Red Sox for sure. So JD Martinez, favorite player on the Red Sox. Next is the Toronto Blue Jays, and my favorite player on the Toronto Blue Jays is the son of one of my favorite players growing up, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. This dude, before he even touched an MLB field, like for actual games, he was already one of my top favorite players because of his dad. And I was like, you know, they show him so much, they talk about him so much, that I am so psyched for when he gets to the major leagues. And I was. And I love that he's finally in the MLB, and he's not off to like a crazy, insane superstar, but he's still tearing it up in the home run derby. Made me like him even more. I still think he should have won the home run derby. Sorry. But I think all his home runs, you know, easily beats Pete Alonso. But you know, with the new system they play by, Pete Alonso wins, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. loses. But Vladimir Guerrero Jr., this dude, I love how he just goes in there and he's like, Placata! And he just freaking destroys that baseball, man. It's so much fun to watch. The Blue Jays are going to be fun to watch in the future with all their young talent. But Vladimir Guerrero Jr., out of all the young talent and on the Blue Jays, you're my favorite. Next is the Baltimore Orioles, and my favorite player on this team is hurt right now. He's rehabbing, but it's Mark Trumbo. And I think that's because Mark Trumbo used to be an Angel, and he freaking killed baseballs when he was on the Angels. I loved when he was on the Angels, and I hated to see him go. But Mark Trumbo on the Orioles is my favorite player, and it sucks to see that he's hurt and he's not really having the same career he did in Anaheim. But still, favorite player on the Baltimore Orioles, Mark Trumbo. Your insane power impresses me, and it makes you my favorite player on the Orioles. Okay, that is all 15 of the American League teams, but I gotta say, guys, you may have seen me holding this towel in some of the shots. It is so hot in here, especially with this light on me. I've been using this to wipe down sweat like after every single team. because it's getting ridiculous. Let's move on to the National League. Starting with the NL West, we will start with the Los Angeles Dodgers, you know, the LA team that I don't root for. I'm an Angels fan, but almost everyone around me is Dodgers fans, so it's very hard to find a common ground. Fireball's an Angels fan though, and Mobo, so we get along very well. But then, you know, all my friends that are Dodgers fans come in and they're like, hey man, Dodgers, we own LA, and I'm like, get out of my face. Get out of my face. But my favorite player on the Dodgers is Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger this year, dude, is insane. The Dodgers are also one of those teams like the Astros, the Indians, the Yankees, the Red Sox, where they have so much talent that, like, literally anybody could be your favorite player on that team. Cody Bellinger, I'm blanking on the rest of the team. Alex Verdugo, Justin Turner, Corey Seager, Clayton Kershaw, Kenley Jansen. They have so much talent that, like, literally every time you ask a Dodger fan who their favorite player is, you're most likely going to get a different answer. But mine is Cody Bellinger. That lefty swing, the way it looks like he just dominates the baseball, and that like rubber band snap that he has to his swing, it is so awesome to watch. And he has definitely improved his defense this year. He's a great all-around player, and I really enjoy watching him, especially seeing him with my own eyes. I feel very lucky to witness such a player like Mike Trout. I feel very lucky to watch Mike Trout and have him only be like 20 minutes away from me. It is so awesome that Mike Trout is on my favorite team, the Angels. Cody Bellinger, though, favorite player on the Dodgers. Next is the Colorado Rockies, and I brought this guy up earlier when I was talking about Matt Chapman, but my favorite player is Nolan Arenado on the Colorado Rockies, purely because this guy is so good all around. Especially defense. Everyone knows that. Nolan Arenado is a defensive god. Like, he is the one that gives power to other players to have good defense. And he does it with the bat. He also shows intensity. Remember that shot? I think it was on Father's Day. If I'm wrong, tell me below. And he had like that bloody mark on his face, and it was awesome. And then he hit a walk-off on, maybe that was the one on Father's Day. But you know what I'm talking about. This dude plays with intensity all around. I love it. Nolan Arenado. I imagine you are almost everybody's favorite player in Colorado, but right here, you are my favorite player on the Rockies. Next is the Diamondbacks, and I don't really have a huge crop to pick from, but Ketel Marte, this dude has come onto the scene this year. He's really proved himself as a player. He's been doing very well, and he's my favorite player on the Arizona Diamondbacks, Ketel Marte. Next is the San Francisco Giants, and my favorite player on the Giants is Evan Longoria. This dude spent most of his time in Tampa Bay. He wanted to be a Ray for life, but he ended up in San Francisco. And he's not quite the same player he was in his prime. Nobody ever is. But Evan Longoria was so much fun to watch, especially when he hit that walk-off home run to move the Rays on. That was an awesome moment. And Evan Longoria, I'm putting you as my favorite player on the San Francisco Giants. Next is the San Diego Padres, and my favorite player on the Padres just got injured, which sucks. That should also give it away. Fernando Tatis Jr. Honestly, this dude, he was coming for Pete Alonso. He was going to make the NL Rookie of the Year race very tight, but then he got injured and he's been shelved for the rest of the year, which sucks. But this dude is electrifying. His defense is nuts. It's crazy. He's putting on defense that we haven't seen in a while, like constantly game after game after game, amazing play after amazing play after amazing play. Fernando Tatis Jr., you are a very good young player, and I hope you have a great career. Do it with the bat, do it with the glove, and your personality is also awesome. He also has speed, forgot to mention that. Fernando Tatis Jr., favorite player on the San Diego Padres. Next is the NL Central, and we'll start with the Cardinals. My favorite player is Yadier Molina. Why? The number one reason, I love catchers that stick to catcher. His whole career he's been a catcher. He's still a catcher till this day. So if you do that, much respect. It bothers me when catchers, they're so good and young, and they play catcher for the first couple seasons and they move to like first or like outfield, and it's like, oh man, well, there goes a catcher that could have been very good at the position. So Yadier Molina, much respect. Thank you for being a catcher for so long. It is so hot in here, but Yadier Molina gets the job done. He always has. He's had so much respect, so much hype in his whole career, and I also kind of like him because he's also brothers with Benji and Jose Molina, who are on the 2002 Angels World Series team, which makes me like him just a little bit more. The Molina brothers are awesome. Yadier Molina is awesome. That is my favorite player on the St. Louis Cardinals. Next is the Pittsburgh Pirates, and this one might be a little odd to some of you Pirates fans. I don't really know who the favorite is there in Pittsburgh. Haven't really talked to much Pirates fans, but my favorite player on the Pirates is Trevor Williams. If you have been to BP and you have talked to Trevor Williams in the outfield, you'll understand why. This dude, he talks with fans. He's very fun with fans. When I went to Colorado, they played the Pirates, and he was in the outfield, and he's talking to a kid. And he's like, can I have a ball? Can I have a ball? You know, every kid wants a ball. Trevor Williams turns around and he's like, get me a hot dog and you can have a ball. And the kid's like, okay. And he runs and gets him a hot dog. And then during that time, while the kid was going to get the hot dog, there were multiple fans going, Trevor! Trevor! And every time he would turn around and go, what? Like jokingly, but not mad. He'd like jokingly sound mad. And it was hilarious. Trevor Williams is a hilarious dude. Follow him on Instagram too. He is so funny on there. It's Mayamo Trevor. He is a great ball player, a great personality for the sport. And by the way, when that kid came back with the hot dog, he was like, oh no, I was kidding. And then he gave the kid 2 balls for getting him a hot dog and just, you know, going through that effort to get the hot dog. And it was just hilarious. It was awesome. That's one of the many reasons that Trevor Williams is my favorite player on the Pirates. Next, the Milwaukee Brewers. I know most of you, almost everybody, is expecting me to say Christian Yelich. It is not Christian Yelich. It is actually Eric Thames. Eric Thames, when he came back into the league last year after playing internationally, everyone was like, is this guy really going to be anything here in MLB? We don't know. He came onto the scene and he was destroying baseballs. I just love power hitters, dude. Anybody that can like kill a baseball is immediately cool in my book. Eric Thames proved that. He really hasn't had the same year this year as he did last year, but he is still an awesome ball player, and his swing when he connects on a ball is just so much fun to watch. Eric Thames, favorite player on the Milwaukee Brewers. Next is the Chicago Cubs, and this team also has tons of players that could be your favorite. There's Chris Bryant. There's Wilson Contreras. Most people probably pick Javier Baez, but I'm picking Anthony Rizzo. This dude has had a journey to make it to where he is right now. He battled sickness and he came back and he's a World Series champion now. That is so inspirational. Seriously, if Anthony Rizzo doesn't inspire you, and even though he went through all of that and he's been to the lowest lows and now he's seen the highest of highs for baseball, he is always smiling and always having a good time with his team. Anthony Rizzo, favorite player on the Chicago Cubs. Next is the Cincinnati Reds, and this player just got to the Reds this year and he's made an impact and gave himself a personality, Derek Dietrich. Dude, if he wants to hit a home run that he literally hits out of the stadium, then let him pimp that, okay? I think he deserves to pimp every home run. I think every player can pimp any home run they want, especially if they kill it like Derek Dietrich. And he's just been such a personality. When they wore the sleeveless jerseys, he was like the first one out there showing out the guns, and he's like, bam! Boom! And then when the bees attacked, he put on the beekeeper uniform and pretended to be one of them. So the dude obviously knows how to have fun on the field, off the field. He just seems like a great, fun guy. So Derek Dietrich is my favorite player on the Reds. Next, the final division, the NL East. We're starting with the Mets. They have tons of players that could be your favorite player as well. You got Jeff McNeil, Pete Alonso, Jacob deGrom. Tons of talent on that team. But you know, it's the Mets, so they kind of get screwed with bad luck quite often. Sorry, Mets fans. Favorite player on the Mets, though, Noah Syndergaard, mainly due to the fact that he's called Thor. I love Marvel. I love the Avengers. The movies are great. Noah Syndergaard is great. He did an episode of Impractical Jokers that was hilarious, so the fact that he went on the show and was perfectly fine doing that was also awesome. The locks are awesome. Noah Syndergaard throws heat, just like Thor with the lightning. His fastball is his lightning. So, appropriately named Thor, Noah Syndergaard, favorite player on the Mets. Next is the Philadelphia Phillies, and I'm going with the obvious answer on this one, Bryce Harper. I know a lot of people either love him or they hate him. They're like, oh, you bum, you don't deserve your money. Well, Bryce Harper is fun to watch in my book. I think he's got plenty of talent. That walk-off grand slam the other day, that was awesome. That was insane. That's when I say either love the guy or hate the guy. You have to admit that was awesome. Bryce Harper, he gets a lot of criticism for the money he made and not living up to it with his talent. Just leave the guy alone, okay? Baseball's a tough sport. And he's an awesome guy. He's an awesome player. Bryce Harper is my favorite player on the Philadelphia Phillies. Now Bryce Harper's former team that he left for all that money, the Washington Nationals. My favorite player on the Nationals is Trey Turner. This dude has speed. He's got the glove. He's got the bat. He's hit 2 cycles. Then they were both against Colorado, which I find very funny. Yeah, he is fun to watch. Trey Turner, dude. I think I have a little bias because he owned for me in my Diamond Dynasty team earlier in the year. But Trey Turner just seems like an all-around awesome player. That is why he is my favorite player on the Nationals. Next is the Miami Marlins. Not a lot to choose from here. The Marlins are in a very low state in their organization right now, but newly acquired this year. My favorite player on the Marlins is Cesar Puello. He was up for the Angels for a little bit, and he was actually doing pretty good. And then the Angels were like, no, we're getting rid of you. And I was like, what the heck, man? He was doing good for whoever he was replacing at the time. And the Angels just didn't care, and they sent him to Miami. So Cesar Puello, for that reason, you are my favorite player on the Miami Marlins. And finally, we are ending it with the Atlanta Braves. They have so many players on this team that could be a lot of people's favorite players. Freddie Freeman, Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley. My favorite player, probably most Atlanta Braves fans' favorite player, and maybe your favorite player, even if you're not a Braves fan, Ronald Acuna Jr. This dude is a beast. I can't wait to see what his career has in store for him. He hits home runs. He steals bases. He robs homers. This dude does it all. He's a 5-tool player. He's so much fun to watch. I hope he has great success in his career, and I hope he just, maybe he gets an MVP. Maybe he wins tons of awards. Maybe he gets a World Series. Ronald Acuna Jr. is a beast, and that's where it ends. I just told you all 30 of my favorite players from all 30 Major League Baseball teams. I know lots of you probably wanted this video, because lots of you are like, who's your favorite player on this team? Who's your favorite player on this team? Well, this video answers those questions. If you ever want to know, you can just watch this video right here. Thank you all so much for watching. Like the video, subscribe, and I will see you next time. And comment your favorite player down below if you made it to the end of the video.